Watch out! The live stream is coming from inside of the house! See, it used to be in the 70s. They'd have movies about, you know, people bothering people over their landline phones. People would be picking up the phone. Hello? That can't happen today. People would, the killer would be trying to dial in on their landline and nobody'd actually be there. There's no landline. I guess nowadays it's like creepy Facebook messages. Welcome to a spooky Court of the Rings here on twitch.tv/LotroStream, youtube.com/Lord of the Rings/live, and facebook.com/Lotro. I am your community manager, Cordovan. I love Halloween. It is simply the best holiday, and not just because it's the one day where you can wear your pajamas to work and actually consider it a costume. Plus, you know, I have a 6-year-old, and, you know, it's like Christmas, but only for candy. I mean, come on, right? So anyway, what am I doing today? Not a whole heck of a lot. I'm just going to be probably bumming around, getting a little bit of XP, talking to y'all about whatever's going on. I'm not actually yet sure what he's going to dress up as. He's at his mother's. I think it's going to be a robot costume that she actually made out of like cardboard boxes and stuff like that, and it looks really, really cool. If I wanted to be a dadded up, I could show you a pic, but yeah, it's a very, very cool robot costume. So anyway, if you're having a good Halloween, hope it's a this weekend, you know, hope it's cool. Otherwise, we'll see you on Tuesday for the real Halloween, All Hallows Eve. I myself am gonna be doing a bunch of Halloween-themed gaming. We do have, you know, our Harvest Math Festival, which runs through... Why do I keep doing this to myself? November 5th, right? Pretty sure that's correct. Don't know what else. Overall, oh, I guess I could say one thing. Maybe I could talk a little bit about that before we get started. We are actually planning to do a patch potentially as soon as next week. Like, say, first half-ish of next week. And, make sure I'm right on that. Yeah, it should be through the 5th. Being shut off 3 a.m. Eastern Time on the 6th, the Harvest Math Festival. Let me actually call up an email if I can, and get you guys a bit of a sneak peek as to what we're working on for the patch. Now, some of this stuff might not all make it in, but because it's frankly being worked on yesterday, today, etc., etc., some of it hasn't been tested yet, hasn't been merged yet into the build hasn't been tested, etc., etc. So, pretty much early look of things that might happen in this patch, but we are currently working on a small patch, 21.2.3 for next week. An issue where people cannot use quest items for a filtered quest that is underway. I don't know why you would filter a quest you're currently underway on, but if that's you, that'll be fixed. We're going to be doing some database maintenance as well. Fixed an issue with Thraknul, the final boss in Nairband, doing too much damage with his distributed AoE skill. Maybe even upping the loot rate a little bit for the final bosses of Nairband and Saragost. Fix an issue that I don't really want to say until it's fixed, because it's a bit exploity. Equipment level 105, featured instance armor sets will once again be item level 222. Fragments of Gorgoroth dungeons will have their proper plural name when stacked. Gorgoroth Scourge spoils boxes will include Gondor, or will no longer rather include Gondor silver pieces and Anorian sealed wax. We're finally bringing in those couple of rare spawns that are not placed correctly in Agradeath and Dor Emarth. Like I said, that's the current hit list for a small patch for next week. Some of that stuff may or may not happen, but that's the idea anyway. Rick over on Facebook, any idea when the Allegiance Superior glove stats are going to be corrected? No. Are shield recipes coming anytime soon? I have not heard of that. I did send an email on those Allegiance Superior glove stats. I think, if I'm remembering that correctly, they don't scale up as much as some of the other items, right? And I know that that's on our to-do list, but I don't know when on that. Will the Mordor packs, as from YouTube, be going on sale at some point in the future? Yes. I have no idea when, though. Spending Halloween at Disneyland, Druid's Fire. That sounds pretty fun. Hopefully you're going to see the Haunted Mansion. I always loved that one when I was a kid. Will the raid be on Bull Roar this weekend? Maybe. Good point. Saruman the Many-Colored over on Twitch. I know Tiber and crew are working to get our first preview of Update 21 Patch 3 to Bull Roar. I don't know if it's going to be in time for this weekend or not, but it's in the works, so it's a possibility. Yeah, the gloves have 10 instead of 14 Light of Arendelle. Think the rest is fine. Yeah, Arid. Thanks for pointing that out. Yeah, that is the email I passed on to the team, and I got her thing saying, okay, yeah, we'll look into that. But it's not, set for next week's patch, and, until it's done, I can't really commit to it. But I know it's on the radar, so. All right. Can people we put on Ignore also be removed from our site? No, unfortunately they use different systems. I mean, theoretically they could, but it would be extra work. Alright. Sounds good. Let me do my Hobbit gifts for the day. See how that goes. Silver scraps. And some marks. Okie dokie, that works. A new mail. Oh man, people keep sending me stuff. I appreciate that. But, my inventory is kind of suffering. I don't have any room. Okay. Y'all my sugar daddy. What can I say? No, we are not planning to extend the Ignore list that I know of. No. Yeah, I am really sorry on the development letter. We are not deliberately being jerks about it. It's just we're really heavy in the middle of Ravenloft development on the other side. And, some, like, marketing, Sev, things like that. I mean, the Locher team's cooking along and doing their thing, and we're split, frankly, between both games. And just due to the necessity, similar to the way, like, say, when Mordor was getting released, we've just been busy doing with that. We've got some kind of internal maintenance things that are going on. We're working on getting, feedback and stuff ready for 21.3, and just a whole bunch of stuff going on. So that producer's letter keeps getting kicked down the road a little bit, and I apologize for the delay on that, but we're getting it out as soon as we can. Yep. Any plans to fix Lareth resetting on Saragost? Yes. I don't think that's in for next week's patch either, but I know that that is also on the radar. I have not asked about Thurlis about why we don't get shield recipes for metalsmiths. I'm sorry, or crossbows for woodworkers. I will copy that into my notepad of annoying the devs. Just kidding. And I'll check into that. Yep. Nothing to say on the 64-bit client, Aruran. Are we going south or east after Mordor? I can't say yet. But that should be coming soon. Newish to the game, wondering as a paying player, do I need to buy the Moria expansion, or does that unlock automatically? Yeah, you do need to purchase the expansions, correct. The amount of lag, is this being taken care of soon? We're looking into that for both games, particularly on the DDO side, but it's going to impact Locho too. So yes is the answer to that. What is the air velocity of an unladen swallow? Unladen swallows, even though they're technically birds, you know, they prefer walking. A Nazgul, one of the 9 ring race they spoke of at the Council of Elrond? I have not forgotten the honeyed words conveyed through one of those riders to us back at the Lonely Mountain. Such poison. They wished us to betray old Bilbo Baggins to Mordor. I'll help you as best I can, although Dane did task me with another matter.
I would be grateful for your assistance.
You say that? So you say that Elrond mentioned goblins in his direction to come here? Goblin fires to the north and east along the Penith Finui. You'll likely find Gershmat. Alright, looks like we're going to be doing some goblin killing. I'm aware that it's a Monty Python quote. Okay, so I actually have to go... Looks like probably across the northern Bruin source, I'm guessing, and then down east, assuming I can't... Well, maybe I can cut across, right? I guess we'll see. While I'm at it, let's see if I can clear out any inventory.
Don't just gawk. Tell me what you need.
Tell me what you need. Okay, good enough. Oh yeah, cool, I got the Swan Kite, and I got the Seed of the Third Age. Use my rep items, it'll free up inventory. Yeah? I think I already did that though, didn't I? Did you see some rep items in there? See the loot box, fragments, reclamation scrolls, yeah, something or other. Oh, the Mathams? Okay. I'll deal with that later. Alright, can the Vampire Hunter armor from DDO get into Locho? Because it's awesome. Yes, it is. That's for Ravenloft. We have sort of a, well, it's almost like a, well, it's what you'd think, a Vampire Hunter armor. A little bit like, Well, it's a little western, a little... I guess if you'd see it, you'd recognize it. I don't know, I mean, potentially we could. We'd clearly do it differently for Lotro, but it's theoretically possible. Have we gotten any feedback on how the devs rated their Mordor crafting tier? Are they happy to release so many inconsistencies with it? I don't know if it's really something that I'm prepared to get into. You know, as with any feedback, it tends to be wide and voluminous. But I appreciate your opinion that it's inconsistent. Snowbeast Slayer. It looks like Undertaker from WWE. Yeah, you know, you're not wrong actually about that. That's a pretty decent comparison to be making actually. Yeah. Any chance of the new cosmetic weapons from the loot boxes being added to Lelia's market? I do not like playing the loot box lottery for cosmetics. Sorry, but probably not. We do like to have a mix of things in those loot boxes, including, say, unique items. So I just don't see us adding that to Lelia's. So basically the devs don't grasp how bad the crafting tier update was. I didn't say that whatsoever. Generally, it's never accurate to say all the devs think X or all the devs think Y. Similar to, it's rarely a good idea to say all players think X or all players think Y. It sounds like you have a real issue with the way the crafting tier went, though, and that's fine. You know. It was made for the specific content we were making it for. You may clearly not like what we did with it. Congrats on leveling. Yeah, I'm working on it. Slow but steady. Am I playing a minstrel? Yes. Will we ever bring back the Take the Hobbit to Isengard event again? That is actually being done. Druid's Fire, correct me if I'm wrong about that. Isn't that still being done by the Department of Holbit Security? The Take the Hobbit to Isengard event? So it's no longer being run by, say, the official team anymore, but I believe it is still taking place, correct? Yes, Department of Holbit Security is running that. Okay, so apparently I'm wrong in the way that I get here. How do I get to... The map is doing me bad. What? Jerry doesn't know his way around? God, he's an idiot. Ah, there we go. Okay. I actually thought, Kickman77, I actually thought our Extra Life went particularly well this year. I was pretty happy with the way Extra Life went and continues. You know, I am taking donations through the end of November, so if you want to get in on that, you can. I've actually been working the last couple of nights to get people their titles, their Ghost Bear certificates, you know, things like that. I've got a, like I've said before, literally hundreds of PMs to get to, so it's going to take a little while. But, yeah, so... Alright, I'm going to have to... Falling down the mountain. Dun, 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 dun. I mean, sure, newer incentives are always good. Ultimately, I, you know, dealt with the cards I had. Those cards were, here's, you know, we're heavy at work on the instances and post-mortem work and things like that. They just didn't have time to make new stuff for me. But, you know, hopefully in the future. Although, I would actually say, we were able to bring back the Perlino Steed, and I know that some people, those were actually quite a popular choice, because a lot of people apparently didn't have that. So that was cool. Let's see. The Revamp Elite collection panel, mounts, pets, etc. is awesome. Thanks for that. Any further collections planned? Not directly planned, although we agree that they turned out really good, and clearly people seem to be enjoying it. And so as long as that continues, I would imagine we might look at further things like that we could do in the future. Shaggy Snowmantle taking, absorbing a lot of hits. Yeah, like a title collection, things like that. That would make sense. I hear you. Some people saying make the loot box cosmetic items at least account bound, not character bound. I've passed along that feedback. I don't know if it'll lead to any change, but cool. Just call me Warg Slayer. Ah, cool. Let me get out that word there. This comes from Facebook, from a person named Robert. If you're ever on Laurelin on the eve of the 14th of November, the Elven Kinship of Vanamar is holding their 9th annual Elven Yule Ball. Awesome. That sounds fantastic. Please, Robert, if you're an organizer of it or you know how to contact the organizer, please let them know that I very much would like to feature that in the Lotro Beacon. So if you would be so willing, please send an email in or get us details on Twitter or whatever. I would love to feature that. Why do hobbits have their own festivals and elves don't? Well, I imagine there's a lot of elvish festivals, but there's just so many, you know, they live such long lives that there's just way too many festivals to keep up with. How many people are on the servers these days? All of them. I am not aware of any non-humans currently playing Lotro. That said, if your dog is playing Lotro, please get in touch with me. I think that would also make for a pretty interesting Lotro Beacon article. What, Hogovich, as a 10-year player, I'm curious on my end, what has changed from release of Moria with multiple 6-man instances to now having one and one 3-man team? You know, I can't really get into some of the business side of things, but clearly we are a smaller team nowadays than we were 10 years ago. So that is probably a lot to do with it. We also, you know, we're working on the instances and the raid to some extent, although that's a little bit more post-development, while we were working on Mordor as well. So there's a little bit of reality of that, where we're working on a lot of content simultaneously with a smaller, scrappier team, as it were. And some of it's just decision making. You know, I believe when, you know, we like to make content that gets played a lot. And so to some extent, when given a development choice between making X amount of quests versus X amount of raids versus X amount of what have you, you know, we have to prioritize different things. So. Yeah, I'm sure there would be a way to do a titling system of some kind or other. You're right that we don't really quite have the same sort of setup that we do for, say, mounts and that, but I'm sure we could figure something out. Any thoughts about adding the race-specific dance emotes available to other races as additional emotes? So most of the emotes are made by the animators for a specific race. So essentially by making them available to another race, you would be doing the same amount of implementation work that you would in making the dance emote to begin with. I think there's also kind of a desire to let each race have its own unique thing. There we go. Any ETA on the creep quick fix I've read about on the forums? No. Just like I said last week, it's going to be done as soon as possible. One possibility would be 21.3, another possibility would be update 22. And it's just, you know, too early, frankly, to say at this point. You know what? I kind of want to get to the high crag here. So maybe I will... Yeah, I guess I'll just keep going. I just don't want to get too in the weeds here and then run out of inventory space. So you heard about update 21.3. Yeah, we got a new raid coming, and we are in the process of getting that ready for Bull Roar, potentially this weekend. Maybe not. Kind of depends when it's ready and how things go. But that's, QA, Tiber, and crew will know more about that than I would. So stay tuned. They'll have info as to when that's available. Sorry, Gauner, I know you're looking for an answer on when we'll upgrade Tactical Mastery on Legendary Weapons for Runekeeper, Minstrels, and Lore Masters. I don't know. I don't have a date for you, I'm sorry. But the creep fix, you know, I don't know if I would really call it a... I think that's a... I mean, I understand picking a shorthand word, but it's more of a quick pass than a creep fix. I think we will see creep work done as part of that, but... you know, the intention is to do a fairly quick pass on PvMP to get us more in line on the balance side there. Based in large part on what we're seeing in feedback on that thread, and what Bastion's able to implement. I kind of want to jump off this cliff. Woohoo! I guess I am jumping off the cliff. Ah! Oh, God. Oh, that was fun. I didn't even take damage. Oh my gosh, Twinstrels are quite mighty. Let me guess, it's way up there, huh? Nope. Okay. Ah, there we go. Cool. Yeah, I even banked off the other mountain. That worked out pretty great. Alright. I read finesse corruptions will remain. Do we know if that means creeps will not have their finesse properly scaled up? People a little bit more cynical than me believe it will stay low since SSG added finesse scrolls for creeps in the Lotro store. It wouldn't be because of anything we added to the Lotro store. Yes, I believe finesse corruptions are not going away. And I believe the intention is to make sure that the scaling of finesse is a little more what it needs to be. But that's really something that Vastin's going to have to take a look at and make a decision on. I was a razor man before I jumped down my dwarf. Yeah, kind of, right? Yeah. Is the next update going to be the raid update? Yes. Well, 21.3 will be the raid update. I did say that we are working on a 21.2. Was that 3, I think? 4? 3, 4? Next week, and that will not be the raid update. The raid update still needs to get to Bull Roar and all that sort of thing. But the next point update, not point update, the next point update will be the raid. When can we expect a producer's letter? I don't know, man. In a perfect world, it would have been there already. But we just have not had time to get to it, and I apologize for that. But just have not had time to get to it, so... I don't even want to put an estimate on the time at this point. I'm sorry. Okay.
Will you help me?
I would like to have better reputation with Thorin's Hall. That sounds like a plan. Okay, that's way up there. Bears. I still gotta defeat what's his name. And that's, if I recall... Well, just where I was, right? Somewhere deep in the goblin camp sprawls along the ridges of the Penethrinery. That was right? I thought it was over, the coins for that was over by Eastern Brennan and stuff. Caldwell Pool. The reality, Eothron, and I'm very, very sorry to say this, we haven't even done the first draft in the producer's letter yet. We were hoping to, but we haven't. I'm sorry. Are Bjornings due for more balance passes, especially at higher levels? Yes. We are going to be working on class balance in 2018 to some extent. And Bjorning's on that list. Are there any plans to add DirectX 9 and the other stuff needed to Lotro installer? I'm putting off buying a new Windows 10 computer because of this. I don't know what the licensing is on that. I'd have to talk to an engineer about why we don't just bundle in DirectX 9. I know, though, having just bought a new computer a couple months ago, that you can just quick Google DirectX runtime end user download, and you'll go to a Microsoft site and install all that stuff. So it's not really a big issue. It only took like a minute. Oh, I had been in the right area? See, I thought so. Okay. Forgot to mention the time. The Elven Yule Ball, 14th of November at 2100 hours CET, which I believe they're 6 hours ahead. So that would be at 1500 Eastern, which would be 3 p.m. Eastern. The 10th year of Animar, so it's a nice coincidence. Not this weekend, but next weekend is Daylight Savings, so Europe and the US are going to be slightly off sync again. It happens for a couple of weeks, so be prepared for that. And by be prepared, I mean don't be surprised if my downtime announcement's off by an hour, but, you know. Yeah, because what I ended up having to do both for Lotro and DDO, so the new computer I had DirectX 12 on the card. And theoretically, DirectX 12 is supposed to be backwards compatible to 9, 10, and 11, but in my experience, it isn't. So what I ended up having to do was quick, like I said, just Google DirectX runtime end user download. And we just went to a Microsoft page, clicked a button, it scanned my machine and said, yeah, you want this thing? And I was like, yes. And then I was able to boot up DDO Lotro and some other games. No problem. Ah, cool. Huron. I assume Huron from the forums as well. One guide to rule them all for working around DirectX or other installation issues. Very, very cool. You know, I've read mixed results on using Microsoft's kind of automatic scanner installer. All I can say is that even though I know like some people on the forum said it didn't work, it worked for me. So, your mileage may vary on it, but it worked for me, so... Like I said, it only took like a minute. I agree it would make sense to just sort of put DirectX into the installation path, but maybe there's a reason why it's not done that way. I don't actually have the knowledge to know that. I don't know, Thurless, why we have 2 Allegiance dailies, one at a 7-hour window, the other 17 hours. I'm not sure about that one. Wait a second, donuts are forbidden in Lotro? Says who? I've got a pretzel. Can you see my cosmetic pretzel? No. I have a cosmetic pretzel. It's pretty rad. Are there plans for a Black Friday sale? Oh yeah. No big surprise, we will also be taking part in the darkest of Fridays. Nope, nothing on the Halloween Steam sale. At least nothing I'm aware of. I assume someone would have let me know. Yeah, there's my pretzel. There we go. Thanks, Druid's Fire, for the pretzel. I need a cosmetic beer stein. I was saying, no, what I need is some cheese dip. I need a bowl full of cheese dip, nacho cheese dip for it. That's what I need. I don't know that Tolkien intended nacho cheese to be in Middle-earth, but clearly he would have had he been asked about it. Will we see the Dwarf and Hobbit Avatar update in preview and update 21.3 or much later? I'm pretty positive it's not going to be in 21.3. I don't know what the status of getting into 22 is. Ultimately, it's being worked on, and it's not assigned to a specific update. It's assigned to when it's done. And so when the art and animation and everyone teams are do enough iteration that they feel ready to start previewing it and all that, it'll get out. But at this point, we're not committing to a specific update on the next round of Avatar updates. Mirage QQ, please fix bug with deeds in Central Gondor. I don't know specifically which one that is. Sorry. Offhand cheese dip bowl? Yep. Could be like a shield. You know, hollowed out shield with... I'm just saying. When will Bjorning get the Avatar updates? I don't know specifically what the timeline is, other than, as was stated, Dwarves and Hobbits are next. Gonna be a while. Run away, Gabelazan Defender. There you go. Yes, Prada and Anduin, we are... You're talking about the new instances, right? Nerband and Saragost. We are planning to do a fix for the last boss in Nerband with the AoE attack. Basically scale it back some. Any word on fixing bald spots clipping issues with certain gear on the new human and elf avatars? Make sure you've got a bug in on that. I would just, basically what I would need to do is, a screenshot is helpful in this regard, just send it to the art team and say, yo, check this out. Yo, check this out. There was one that just happened on Twitter that I passed to the team yesterday. Now, I'm sure QA actually has a lot of those bugged already, but just on the safe side, since, you know, never hurts to get a double report on that sort of thing. Can I give a few infos as to what's planned for the patch next week? Yes, check out the archive. I actually went through that at the start of the show here today. Dwinstrel the Pretzel Master. That's what I am. Slackers concerning the producer's letter. Yeah, you're not wrong. It just, I mean, there's only so many hours in a day, and, you know, we kind of committed to doing, I kind of committed us to doing a thing because of talking about it on the live stream, and then the reality of the development process was like, nope. So, sorry. But the one on Twitter from yesterday had to do with one of the new autumn dresses. It's got some weird stretching and clipping issues. I passed that along to the team, and I know one of the artists was looking at that yesterday. I haven't heard of new cloak animations. I think, unfortunately, the answer is A-skilled is no. The cosmetics of the Rohan bundle mounts, I don't think will become available to purchase on War Steeds. Even though they're both, you know, steeds, they use different cosmetic systems. And we just don't have any plans that I'm aware of to do that.
Well met.
What happened to my bear? Oh, to Gloin. Oh, all the way back to Gloin? Oh, yeah, where's he located? That's Cirith Mladris. Can I get there from here?
What do you need?
There we go. All right. Xanthor, what you're asking is a technical issue with our surnames in the game. We don't have spaces. DDO's the same way. So even though it would make sense to be able to use two words for a lot of last names, we just don't have the tech to support that. It's just not the way the game's built. Like I said, anything is theoretically possible, but... Let me see. The translation of that is, don't I have a saddle? No, I guess not. Sorry, Brenda, over on Facebook. That you don't like the new elf avatars? If you were to have great screenshots, where could I send them in? You can send them in to... Let me make sure it's... Should be able to send them in to lotro@standingstonegames.com, and I'll get those. Otherwise, if you just want to host them somewhere and PM them to me on the forums, that would be fine too. Ooh. Can't use a crossbow, but that's cool. Alright, that's actually going to be close to 1 o'clock, so why don't I see about what else I could do. Great enemies.
Greetings.
Greetings. Roving threats. Neat.
Well met. How may I be of assistance?
Alright, let me just real quick go through, since I have my email up again, let me go through what is maybe going to be in the patch. We're working on an issue where you cannot use quest items for quests that are underway that you have filtered. I don't know why you would do that, but apparently it's affecting some people. Thraknul, the final boss in Nairband, is doing too much damage with his distributed AoE skill. We're going to be scaling that back. Increasing the loot drops for the final bosses in Nairband and Saragost, level 115. Fixing an issue with Fall Festival chests. Equipment level 105 featured instance armor sets will once again be item level 222. Fragments of Gorgoroth dungeons will have the proper plural name when stacked. Gorgoroth Scourge Spoils box, I believe, will no longer include Gondor silver pieces and Anorian sealed wax. We're going to be adding the rare spawns in Aggranath and Dor Emarth, so that you can complete the hidden threats of Gorgoroth. And that's currently what I have for our potential patch for next week. Some of the things on that list may not make it in, and some things may be added, but at least as of, 12:59 Eastern on Thursday, that's the intended list. Alright, let me do one quick pass over on our comments, see if we got something else. Isn't there a box you can check off to change back to the old avatar? Yes, you can. It's how it displays for you. Alright, I think that'll actually wrap it up then with Court of the Rings here on Twitch, YouTube, and Facebook. If you give us a follow on Twitch, you'll be notified for when we go live with shows just like this. Subscribe to us on Facebook to get our videos in your subscription feed, and subscribe to us on YouTube to get the videos in your subscription feed, and like us on Facebook to get these shows in your timeline, in addition to all the other stuff that we post on Facebook. Really appreciate you being here. We do have a busy stream team schedule, so if you want to go check out the Twitch page, you'll see a visual calendar on our offline screen. Additionally, we do have a link to a Google document that shows all the Lotro streamers, and we are onboarding new streamers all the time as well. So I know we've got potentially at least one new show in the works. Thank you very much. Hope you're having fun playing the Harvest Math Festival. Hope you're having fun playing Lotro, and I will talk to you again soon. Bye-bye. Oh, and happy Halloween.